I'm definitely saving for a car. So I really am saving up for college. I do plan on going to a 4-year college, so that would be really nice.
For what I do save is just going towards an apartment for when I'm ready to move out. And then from there it's just saving for an actual home.
A house, car, college when I graduate next year.
I would like to have a decent sized house, and I'd like to have it paid off, and I'd also eventually like to have my car paid off.
I'm saving right now for college, and then also to buy a car and a house and be able to support a family one day.
Community Bank of the Chesapeake is very proud of the Financial Scholars Program through EverFi. As a matter of fact, we provide this free of charge for some of the schools in the Southern Maryland area. Community Bank of the Chesapeake finds it very important that these students are educated in financial literacy. We see it day in and day out where many customers might not understand how to keep a checkbook, basic financial information. So I was so happy when schools started to incorporate this program, because I've told many of them, no matter what you do in your life, you're always going to need to know this information. It's not specific to one area. Whether you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a business person, whatever you're going to be, you need to know about your personal finances. The program incorporates engaging in interactive media such as games, animations, avatars, and it helps students to understand and experience everyday financial problems and solutions. The courses cover everything from savings, budgeting, investing, how to look at your pay stub, banking, credit, higher education, and so much more. Teachers in the school can incorporate this program into their curriculum as an extra tool to help students.
I think it's so important because it is a huge tool that these students need when they get out of high school, when they get out of college, when they're no longer living with their mother and father. I know I tell my students all the time that I wish I had a class that I was able to take when I was in high school, that when I got out of college, I kind of had to figure it out myself. But this class offers them so much information that it gets them also to go home and get into those conversations with their parents about how is it like to own a house, how is it like to own a car, how do we pay our bills, because sometimes students come in there and they have no idea what all is associated with owning a car, how they need to maintain a car, owning a house, how they need to maintain a house, or even renting an apartment, how they should go about renting an apartment and all the bills that are necessary. So this class gives them all the tools that they can put in their toolbox and that they can carry with them outside of high school and beyond.
Because in high school, like, you have a lot of classes, like you have like history and chemistry, but not everyone's going to be a chemist, but everyone's going to have to know how to save and how to use their money and about insurance. That's something everyone's going to have to deal with.
Like, you don't go into the world blindly. You know what to expect when you get out of high school and college.
Financial literacy, I think, is a key component, and every individual needs to have at least a basic understanding on how to maintain a bank book, write a check, keep their balances squared away, save money, understand what interest is, all the things that financial literacy covers. And EverFi presents a very unique program for them to work at that at their own pace and go over as many times they need so that they can develop that understanding they need.
It helps when you come into adulthood. Like financial wise, your home owning helps with your mortgages, your credit cards. So it basically gives you the rundown before you get into it, what you need to be aware of.
Money and financial is in our everyday lives, and we use it for basically everything we do, from going to the grocery store or buying a house.
Financial literacy is a hugely important class to anybody. It doesn't matter if they're a student or if they're an adult. This class is one of the most practical classes that we can possibly teach. We're teaching these children who are about to launch out into the world the basics of what they need to know about money, the basics of what they need to know about how to protect themselves, and the basics about what they need to know to be able to survive and be a successful citizen in this country.
Like, once you get outside of school, you'll understand the basic things that you need to have or be like completed and like outside of the world. Like, you'll have car insurance and your savings, so you'll really understand how it's supposed to be.
In the future, you have bills to pay and you have a bunch of other financial situations that you're going to run into.
I started this, 4 or 5 years ago, and I just kind of dabbled in a little bit, and it was well received by the students. And then I started doing all of my students. And then 2 years ago, I made it mandatory for everybody in my department to teach all freshmen this EVER5 financial literacy. And it works out really well. So I think last year we had over 300 students that participated in it here at Chesapeake, and every one of them enjoyed taking the class. So yes, it's good for the kids.
Yes, and the one I found was, I'd have to say the credit cards, because I didn't know too much about financial-wise with credit cards and debit cards. I thought they were just the same thing, so with that helped me a lot.
I think all of them are pretty useful, but I think the ones that are most useful are probably the savings, because I don't think teenagers really know how money works, because not a lot of us have a job. Like, we go to school all day, like that's our job, so we don't really know how money works. And I think the savings is really important. I also think that the credit and the insurance ones are really important, because I had no idea of how like credit scores worked and about any types of insurances. Like, I was pretty ignorant when it came to money before I took this class, so I'm glad I took it.
I love the financial literacy program, and I love EVER5 because it gives them another way to get the information. By it being an online course, it kind of helps twofold. I have juniors and seniors, some of whom may be expecting to take online courses in college. So by being able to provide this information through an online format to them, it gives them a little taste of what an online class would feel like first. The other part of that also is that it gives them the chance to be able to go back and review the information. One of the things I love is that the quizzes that are at the end of each section, they can go back and retake as many times as they need. And that, I think, is helpful to them, because then they don't feel defeated if they don't get it right the first time. They can go back and make sure that they really do know what they're talking about in the questions. So,
My favorite course was the savings, because it really helps me like with saving up for like college when I graduate next year, a house, a car. Really like help me save up for like important things I need like in life.
They're all very helpful. I really liked the one about stocks and mutual funds and bonds. I honestly didn't really know hardly anything about that, so that one was very informative.
I love the EVER5 program. When I was in the public schools, they had this there. So when I got to this private school, it was one of the main things that I wanted to implement into my financial literacy class. I love that it is self-paced. I love that the students can put headphones in their ears and they can listen to it. They can take these quizzes as often as they want to and strive for, to get a 100. They can go back and they can do the modules again, but it's very beneficial to them and useful for them, because if there's something that I might not have hit in class that day or for the year, they're going to still get something that maybe I haven't covered, or it's just going to be doubly impacted on things that I have covered, and it's just going to provide them with more information that they can use. But it's a wonderful program, and I love that we've been able to implement it this year at the school.
I think they are very helpful. I think all of them were really helpful for me. I did have a small financial background because my mom did teach me a couple things, but when it came to learning about financial aid, I didn't know what a FAFSA form was until I did the EVER5 about the college savings and financial aid, so that was really helpful for me. And I didn't know whether a credit card or a debit card was safe.
I like the insurance one because there's a lot of, I didn't know there was that many insurances out there, and it shows you which ones that you really need to have and which ones you don't need to have, and which ones are just wasting your money.
and the theme that always comes up is, oh my God, Miss Hopper, I was talking to so-and-so, my parents, my little sister, my friend, and I knew what I was talking about because we talked about credit cards in your class. We talked about credit scores. We talked about the loans and the financial aid and how to get through those things. And they really seem to understand that while mortgages might not be the first thing on their mind right now, but they have enough knowledge that when they go into those situations, they know the questions to ask. And that's huge for anyone, including myself, who had to purchase a mortgage recently. So it's one of those things that even as I was teaching the kids, I was getting more information about what I needed in my life too.
I had a student come back this year who told me that he had saved enough money to pay cash for a car. So to me, he's taken, what we learned last year, he's taken that, saved over the summer, and was able to, instead of going into debt, buy a car and have a car that is debt-free. I've had other students who've come in and they've told me about their checking account, how the actions that they've had to take in when somebody has stolen their account numbers or taken things, and they're like, if I hadn't taken this class, I wouldn't know who to call and who to talk to at the bank, or to get their money back, or to stop any more type of fraud on their account. So it's good that it's the tools and the knowledge that they've learned, they've been able to actually use it and come back and tell me.
Student experience, again, those who you would think may not get much out of it really gravitate to this, and once they get into it, they spend a lot of time doing it. And the one thing they do enjoy is being able to do it as much as they can. They can retake the test, and each time they retake it, they're picking up something little that they didn't know before, and they love it, and I think it's a good thing. And also, I've heard, I don't know this for a fact, that at the state level in Maryland, they're now talking about making it mandatory to have financial literacy in high schools.
I think it should be a core class because it's like really important. I mean, I know the Avogadro's number is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power, but before I took this class, I had no idea what taxes were, so.
Very, very thankful that this program is offered, and I'm very thankful to the bank that they allow us to use it because it is such a useful tool. And again, this class is one of the most fun classes I have because it is the most practical. This is the class where when a child asks me, Ms. Hopper, when am I going to use this? I can say, tonight when you go home, and I won't be lying. So it is extremely practical. I kind of jokingly call it adulting 101. So
Whatever they decide to do with their life, it doesn't matter what career path they choose, they're going to have to take this financial education with them.